All right, f of negative 2. I'm going to substitute negative 2 in for the f function. What am I going to get? What did you get? Guys, in your calculator, 2, parentheses, negative 2, closed, squared. Guys, everybody needs a calculator doing this. Mackenzie, what are you doing? Huh? Okay. Have you got a calculator? Everybody get negative 2? All right. So I have negative 2. All right. Now, g of negative 2. If I put negative 2 in for g, what do I get? What's negative 2 plus 7? So negative 2 plus 5 is, do I get the same answer? Yes. All right, so let's look at number 8. I am subtracting. So I have f of 8 subtract g of 8. All right, what is f of 8? You would just get a number.
Pardon the interruption, Ms. Braxton. Could you send Cindy Marquez to Mrs. Clark's office before the end of this period?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, what did you get? 108. So I have 108. And what is g of 8? 15. So 108 subtract 15 is 93. All right, number 9. I have f times g of negative 1. You okay, Shakir? What's wrong? Right here. All right, I said f of 8. So I took this 8 and I substituted it where the x is. So I said 2 times 8 squared, subtract 8, subtract 12. And I get 108. And then g of 8 is 8 plus 7 is 15. So 108 subtract 15 is 93. All right, for number 9, I have f of negative 1 times g of negative 1. So I have 2, make sure negatives you put in parentheses. And what is f of negative 1?
Negative 9.
Guys, I would suggest you all putting it in the calculator. And copying what I'm doing up here is not helping you. So negative 9 times, what is g of negative 1? So negative 9 times 6 is negative 54. All right, and number 10, I have f of 5 divided by g of 5. What is f of 5? 33. And what is g of 5? That's my answer. Well, can it be simplified? Yeah, they're both divisible by 3. So you get 11 over 4. All right, is everybody there? All right, for the next section, compositions of functions. It says another method to combine functions is called a composition. Given f of x and g of x, the composite function, this is read as f of g of x. That's what the little circle right there stands for. Okay, it's not fog. Dwight. Dwight. I'm not going to ask you to get up again. That's the 4th time today. So when you don't know how to do this in your quiz tomorrow, please don't be asking questions. So just get up and wake up and do your work. So this is f of g of x. So this is written as f of g of x. And we work from the inside out. So f of g of x is defined as f of g of x. All right, so if I have this function right here, this is f of g of x, I'm going to rewrite it like this because I think it's easier for you to understand what we're doing. Now, I just said we work from the inside out. So I'm going to bring down my f, and my g of x is equal to x subtract 1. Does everybody agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, up here, when I had f of x is equal to x plus 2, when I asked you for f of 1, I took that 1 and substituted it where the x was. Everybody with me there? Mm-hmm. Now I have a function in my parentheses. So now this means I'm going to my f function and I'm going to substitute what is in the parentheses. So I have x minus 1 cubed plus 8. Kind of hard to see, sorry. So that is written as f of g of x. So then I have f, g of x is x minus 1. So I'm going to my f function, and I'm going to substitute this. So I get x minus 1 cubed plus 8. That's why I say you work from the inside out. All right, number 12. We have h of g of x. So that is written as h of g of x. So I have h, g of x is x minus 1. So I'm going to go to my h function, and where the variable is, I'm going to put in x minus 1. So I would have 5 times x minus 1 minus 3. Now, can I simplify that one pretty easy?
Yeah.
I distribute the 5 and then combine my terms. So I think it's easier to rewrite it like this. And then you work from the inside out. And then you substitute into this function what you have in the parentheses, and you simplify it. Yes.
Why you do that? Like,
Well, I could have done this, x minus 1 times x minus 1 times x minus 1. All right, look number 13. All right, I have f of h of x. So I'm going to rewrite that as f of h of x. Is everybody good on that part right there? All right, so I have f, h of x is 5x subtract 3. Now I'm going to go to my f function, and I'm going to put this in for the x. So I have 5x minus 3 cubed plus 8. Now, could I simplify that one too?
Yeah.
Just 5x minus 3 times 5x minus 3 times 5x minus 3 plus 8. All right, and number 14, I have g of f of x. So I have g of f of x. So I have g f of x is x cubed plus 8. So I go to the g function, and I'm going to put this in. So I have x cubed plus 8, that's for my x, subtract 1. So what does that equal to? X cubed plus 7. Huh? Where? That last one? We have g of f of x. So you got your g. Your f of x is x cubed plus 8. So I go to my g function, and where the x is, I put x cubed plus 8. So there is my f. And I substituted in for the g. And then I combine 8, subtract 1. All right, so let's look at number 15 where we have to find the value. I have g of h of 2. Now remember I said you work inside out? So this is g of h of 2. All right, g, bring that down. All right, h of 2. So I am at this top function up here. H of x is 5x minus 3. So what would h of 2 be? Guys, what is 5x minus 2 if x is, 5x minus 3 if x is 2? 7. 5 times 2 is 10 minus 3?
Ms. Braxton, pardon the interruption again. I need Shakir Moomin to come to Mrs. Clark's office, please.
Who? Okay.
Thank you.
Hold on for 1 second. Let me finish these. All right, so I have g of 7. So I go to the g function, which is x minus 1, and I put in the 7. So 7 subtract 1 is 6. So that's my answer.
Okay.
Would it work the same if you like worked the problem out like you would in like the first 4 that we did, and then you add 2 at the ends? Because that's what I did, but I also
It should, but I wouldn't do all that extra work. Because, these are the easy ones. When you get to this worksheet right here, it's not going to do that. This is going to have like 3 to do.
Okay, Ms. Braxton, can I ask you a question?
Uh-huh.
So, for number 15, for H, you get like 5 times 2, subtract 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just
Yeah, I'm just working